Hey friends, it's Friday Night Live with me and the dog that has no name. He's a pretty big fan of sitting next to me, so sorry he's gonna be in the video. Last night I got an email from one of our Sweet Tribe ladies, and I told her her email is the inspiration for tonight's video. And this video is for anyone who is struggling to start, who is struggling to hang in there, or is just struggling in general with anything, even if it's not diet related. And you know what? It's funny because as I was reading her email, I felt like I was talking to myself 3.5 years ago. And I smile because I know where my mindset is now, and I know where it was then, and I remember exactly how it felt. And you know, the first thing that she said is, she was like, Christine, like, I'm so frustrated because I feel like it's gonna take several days of me doing perfect to get into ketosis, and then you're telling me if I mess up once, now it's gonna take like several days for me to get back. And I wanna just hit on that shortly before I move on to what I'm actually wanting to talk about. The state of being in ketosis is the most efficient way for your body to burn fat. But it does not mean that if you're not in ketosis, you are not losing weight and you are not burning fat. Remember, this is not a sprint. This is a journey. We're gonna be going for a while, and one day of bad eating, one bad meal is not gonna make you fat, just like one day of eating, as much as I wish, is not gonna make you skinny. I actually, on purpose, when I was really sick earlier this week, was taking in carbs because I was having some pressed juices, and I lost 4 pounds unintentionally. I wasn't in ketosis, but it's just that now my metabolism is working really well. So remember, our goal is to be in ketosis, but the thing is any diet ever, there's not one out there that's a high sugar diet, okay? And the reality is that for most of us, when we're getting started on this, if you actually were to track how much sugar you're taking in, it's ridiculous. So if the only thing that you do right this week or today is just to take in less sugar and to start moving towards this model of taking in more healthy fats, taking in more proteins, and eating less sugar, you did good. Okay, so I don't care what a blood test or a pee test says. I don't care what the scale says. I care about how you feel. I care about, is your mind getting on the right track to do this long term? I care about, are your clothes fitting looser? And if those 3 things are happening, I don't care what the scale says, okay? I really don't. And so I just want to encourage you we can get this all or nothing mentality. Myself, I'm an extremist. I'm an extremist in everything I do. I go hard, but I go hard on a diet, but I also fall really, really hard on a diet. And it's easy to get into that mentality. Well, now I'm not in ketosis, so I might as well eat bad for a week. Don't let yourself get there. Let yourself get right back on track and realize, like, we are totally rewriting our own rules right now, okay? But I gave her an analogy, and I actually really loved it. And I want to ask you to go through this exercise with me. Like, seriously, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about, I know for all of you, there may be more than one, but there's one. I want you to think about the person that broke your heart years ago. And I want you to just take yourself back just for a moment to that moment when your heart broke and you were devastated. And people would say, just take it one day at a time. And you were lucky to be taking it 1 minute at a time. And you didn't know how you were going to survive without that person. That person made you feel good. That person brought you comfort. And even though that person, in the end, maybe wasn't really good for you, it's still what you wanted, and it's still what you were used to. And the thought of them not being there was devastating. But minute by minute, hour by hour, the hours turned into days, and the days turned into weeks, and slowly but surely, your need for that person started going away. And you started refining yourself. And maybe down the road, even though you still love and have care for that person and have love for that person, at the end of the day, you realize you're better off without them. Now, y'all already know what I'm about to tie this back to, but is that not our relationship with food? Because for me, I was so addicted to food I was an emotional eater, man. I mean, when I'm having a stressful day at work, all I am thinking about is what am I going to eat when I leave? And while I'm eating that treat that's giving me all these endorphins that are making me feel like I'm going to be okay, I'm already thinking about the next one. I was a binge eater at its finest. It's like my life revolved around food. So when I was asked to take away the very thing that was bringing me comfort, it was scary. It felt like the worst breakup I'd ever been through. But think about it. You got over that person that broke your heart. You got over. You look back on it and you appreciate the memories. You learned a thing or two, but you got over it. And just in the same way, the habits that you have been so stuck to for so long, you're going to get over those too. I promise you. If I could get over my emotional eating connection to food, so can you. And just know, just like with during a breakup, you're not just going to wake up tomorrow and just be over it. But soon as you start living this new life and you start creating this new character, you're going to stop thinking about it so much. Maybe a few times a day, but maybe not 100 times a day. And then maybe just once a day. And then when you see your ex-man at the bar, it's not going to be such a big deal because you're past it. Just like when you see things that would have normally made you cave before, you're going to be past it. And, you know, this journey is hard. This journey was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I've been through a lot. But I can promise you it was the journey that was worth it the most. And I wish for just a moment in time I could take each and every one of you and just put you into my body and into my mind for just even 5 minutes to show you, hold on and don't give up, because this is worth it. This is worth everything. And so I just wanted to come and just kind of put a perspective on that. That number one, this is no different than any other breakup. If y'all haven't seen my breakup playlist video, you should download it because those are some really good songs to help you through this time. But also just remember, this is not all or nothing. We are wanting to create new versions of ourselves, and that takes time. It took me a year to truly be able to cement these things into practice and to not fall off the wagon every single time I was tempted. So I love you guys. Just wanted to come on and give you some thoughts and share with you a conversation I had last night. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'm here for you if you need me.